Hi everyone, I'm going to show you how to do the quilting technique to do a card like this. Ruth Trice did a video on YouTube and I got it from her, and I've just used different papers. So this is the Expressions in Ink paper, and that's a card, another card base done where I've actually left a small gap of basic white in between the triangles. Here's one I finished using the Tiger Designer Series paper from the new annual catalogue. And there's another one with gaps between so you can see the evening evergreen, and I just cut the tiger out of Designer Series paper. This sentiment is from a retired set, the dinosaur set that was in about 2 years ago. This is using the Hostess paper, which you can get for £17 if you put in an order over £150, and you get 48 sheets. You get 4 of each design. And then that is using the Sweet Strawberry stamp set and the punch that goes with it, and again the Hostess Designer Series paper, and these are the tailored tags dies, which are really nice. So I'm just going to show you, oh, and this is another one that I did using the Men's Designer Series paper that has actually sold out now, that's retiring at the end of this month. So this is with the Pets dies and the stamp set that goes with it, and then that's, you can get 2 cards out of 4 strips of 12x1 Designer Series paper. So that's the 2 cards, and I decided to use the Pets stamp set and dies with that one. Don't know what I'm going to do with this one yet. And then that's a slimline card done with it. So you can either do 2 normal size cards or you can do 1 slimline card. Haven't finished that one off yet. And then this is where it's interesting. If you do 5 strips of paper, you end up with the same colour in the middle. But I actually prefer what Ruth did, which is the 4 strips of paper, which means you get this varying design in the middle. So you must make sure that your paper that's a bit of a contrast is sort of second in line. So I've got my 4 strips of paper here, and I'm going to stick them down onto this scrap piece. It's a piece of Designer Series paper that we did a few years ago. It's a good way of using up your Designer Series paper that you don't particularly like. So I'm using Tombow because it's easier, and I just use it as a pencil and just go on the back like this, and just put enough to stick it down basically, because particularly if once you put the triangles together, if you actually put it through your cut and emboss machine with an embossing folder, that will help to hold the layers together for you. So there's my first strip down. This I cut a little bit bigger than the strips that I'm going to do. So I'm going to put the orangey coloured one on next. And this has got Old Olive, I think it is, on the background. It looks like a sort of watercolour design. That this is a sort of effect you can get if you use 100% isoprenyl alcohol on vellum. If you basically use alcohol markers first, and so like blends pens, for example, and you just colour different. I'll do a video on that. Look, quite a few demonstrators have done videos on that technique. And then when you add the alcohol that's 99 or 100%, you end up getting an effect that looks a bit like this. But this is easy because Stampin' Up have done all the hard work for you. So I'm just going to put the ends against like that. That's the 3rd one, and then I've just got the 4th one here, which will just squeeze on. So this is probably, so I'm just going to quickly add my glue to this piece. You need to have a Tombow that's, you don't have to keep shaking to get the Tombow out. But this seems to, I'll just get that out, there we go, whoops. Okay, take that away. And then that should stick on. There we go. Just put that to one side and stick this one on and stick it on like that. So you've got your 4 strips of, I'll just put that one straight, get that one on. Thankfully with Tombow you have a tiny bit of wiggle room to just get it in place. So now I really want to trim it off. So I'm going to first of all trim off just a tiny bit off this end and get rid of that. And then I'm going to just trim here and get a smidge, as they say in the trade. Whoops, and it's, hang on. And get that off like that. Okay. And I think the glue is still wet. So this trimmer is actually very good at trimming large amounts. but the glue was just slightly wet, and when you haven't allowed it to dry properly, sometimes it can get caught. So I'm just going to, with my big guillotine, just trim off that edge. That's okay, so that won't show. Okay, so now what we've got to do, I've got my grid paper here, which is really useful, so I'm just going to put it so that you can see what I'm doing. And I put it along here, so I'm going to mark off with a pencil, which I'll just grab a pencil. And I'm going to mark off on one side 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And then I'm going to turn it round, and on the other side I'm going to mark off the odd numbers. So if I just get that straight, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Okay, so let's hope that this is dried properly so that it won't get snarled up in my cutter. Okay, and let's make sure I've got all my bits out of there. Okay, so I'm going to match up, first of all, just get rid of the bits out of here. I'm just going to match up that corner with the first mark here. So this is giving me my triangles. So that's the first one. And then I'm going to match up that with the next pencil mark, which is like that. And then I'm going to just carry on down the line from that pencil mark to that one. And notice I'm taking the trimmer alternate directions, because that helps to use the blade, as it were, to its maximum potential. Because if you're always using it in the same direction, the blade has got, it's a triangular shaped blade, so it's sharp on both sides of the triangle. So it cuts with one edge of the triangle when it goes up and the other edge of the triangle when it goes down. So I'm just going to put that in there and put that there. And so it's just a matter of turning it each time so that you get reasonably accurate, hopefully, triangles. So there we go. And then, oops, that wasn't so accurate, but anyway, hopefully it'll do. You must make sure you try and keep it still while you cut it. And then one more here, like that. Make sure that's in the right place. Okay, and then the last one is here to that corner. There you go. Now you've got to sort out your triangles. So I'm going to put the ones with the orange at the bottom on this side and the ones with the pink at the bottom on this side. Sorry, orange sort of second up, and here you can see the orange is third up. So I'm going to put those ones, that's going to go that side, that's going to go that side. You'll see why I'm doing this in a moment. Ooh, that one's come off, so we've got one short there. Obviously the paper came off. So I'm going to put together this one to show you. So these, you can see how those triangles differ to that one. So you just basically put them like this. Top and tail them is really what it is. So you've got like that, like that. And then I have got, actually I think that one's lost its paper as well. I don't know what happened to that paper, it came off. But anyway, no matter, that's interesting. So now if I take this one and I cut it in half, that'll do the two ends for me. So if I just put the base at the top and do that, I've got my two small triangles, and one should fit here and one should fit like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap that one and swap that one. So it does look a bit different because I seem to have lost the designer series paper. I obviously didn't put the glue on properly, but it doesn't matter because I think that looks okay. So I'm going to take a slightly bigger piece of cardstock and I'm going to stick these to this piece. So I'm going to start with this one and make sure I've got it down the end, and that's going to go like that. And take this piece and that's going to go against that one like that. And then this piece. It's quite relaxing actually, this, because it's just sort of one thing after another, and it's quite nice to be actually using up your designer series paper. That piece like that. So this is going to look a bit different because it's not got that dark evening evergreen piece running through it, so it's a bit lighter obviously when it's finished off. This piece like that, and 2 more pieces to go. 1, and then I might not fit, in fact I'm not going to fit the last one on, which is okay. So I'll just take this and trim it off. Don't think anybody's going to notice, so I'm just going to trim that piece off, and then I'm going to trim this piece off. In fact, I need to trim a little bit more off. So this is the amazing thing about this trimmer, it'll trim off really tiny thin slithers of cardstock, which is great. So that shows you the design, the pattern that you get, and I can use that then for a card. And then obviously I've got these pieces as well, so they will look slightly different when they're finished off. One like that, get those pieces out the way, one bit like that, and one bit like that. So you can see you've got the pink on the edge, but you've got the green going up and down, and this one you've got the green at the bottom and you've got the orange going up and down. So that's basically how you do a card front like that. And then you can decorate it. With this one I actually used from the Penned Petals dies, and I cut it in half, so I had half there and half there. I put Versamark and heat and stick powder around the outside of the sentiment base, and I put some gilded flakes on it, gold gilded flakes on, and it came out like that. And this is polished pink base card. Not sure how I'll finish off the others two, but I'll try and post the photographs when I've done it on my Fanny Stafford's Happy Stampers page. Okay, take care and see you soon. Bye.